So you probably don't need a better camera to start shooting good photos. And this video isn't about telling you not to get a camera or just stick to your phone over your camera. It's more about if all you have is an iPhone or any smartphone nowadays is pretty good, especially any flagship phone. Just wait out till you can get a proper camera and learn how to take photos with this. The other day I went on a photo walk with some friends and I took my X100 with me, and I love this camera, right? But it's not weather sealed and it was raining that day and I don't have the attachment to weather seal it. So I just put it away because I had my iPhones. First of all, it's probably always on you already. It has 2 cameras at least. Mine has 3 if you have the Pro version, but at least 2 cameras, a standard and an ultra wide, and if you have a Pro version, it has the telephoto. So it's very versatile for both photo and video. But for this video, we're gonna focus on just the photography side of things. One of the things that I've noticed whenever I'm shooting with my phone is that I don't take it too serious. And that's actually one of the reasons I really like this camera, because when I would shoot on my professional camera that I'm shooting this on, the Canon R5C, it would just feel like I needed to leave that photo walk or that photo session with bangers, right? When I'm shooting with this, and especially with this, I don't feel like that. And because of that, I just kind of do things and like shoot in situations that I wouldn't normally do, because it's just like, whatever, right? Like just take the photo, not go on about your day, go on to the next spot, location, whatever. And that might not seem like a big deal, but once you start taking, like for me at least, once I started getting more serious about photo and video and got deeper into my career, for some reason, there's just like a weight, because you want to get better, right? You want to get better and you want to take good photos. But when you have that constant pressure on yourself, you get worse photos, at least for me, or at least it feels like you're getting worse photos. So whenever I bring this thing out, I tend to focus more on things that actually make a good photo, because I know it's a smaller sensor. I tend to prioritize things like lighting, composition, just finding colors in a scene, things that actually matter in photography, because while the camera does matter, at least to some extent, the fundamentals are more important, like framing, like everything I just listed. So subconsciously, I feel like I'm looking for those things more than I would when I had my camera. It's almost like, since this is technically a limitation, like it's not going to be as good as a full frame or even APS-C sensor camera, it's still very capable. And because of that, whenever you just focus on the creative stuff, this kind of becomes invisible. It's just like, okay, I see a nice color, maybe a nice patch of light or something like that. That's what you tend to focus on more. Whenever I go on photo walk with people, I'm just trying to have a good time with my people, right? So that's what this felt like exactly. And I'm going to throw some photos on screen of, pictures I've gotten on the iPhone. Maybe I wouldn't put them on a billboard, but they're photos that I'm happy with and I would show to friends. I'm showing you guys now. So yeah, it kind of just takes away some of that pressure that I sometimes have when I'm shooting with like a professional camera, because it's just like, whatever. It's just, I'm just getting some snaps. It's not a big deal. The mentality that I have when I'm shooting on my iPhone kind of carries over when I'm taking pictures on my proper cameras. And it just makes me a better photographer overall. But there are some settings that I do tune so that I can get the most out of the iPhone. And I don't shoot on the default camera app as much anymore. I still do, but lately I've been using the Moment app, Moment Camera Pro 2 app. I forget what it's called. I'll put it on here, but it's the Moment app. And I'm not affiliated with them. They didn't pay me. They didn't give me access to the app, none of that. I genuinely just like this app because of something called the natural processing feature. I'll get into that in a second. It is not a free app, so I'm gonna cover what the settings I use on the default camera app, and then I'll get into the Moment app, and if you wanna buy it, then go ahead. The most important setting for me when I'm shooting the default camera app is the format that I'm shooting in. And I'm not gonna go into detail, but because I have a dedicated video that I'll link somewhere here. But the main things I change is I shoot in ProRAW and I change it to JPEG XL Lossy. That's because of file compatibility, and it gives me the most flexibility when I'm shooting in ProRAW. I won't get into detail. If you want a proper tutorial, watch my video, but those are the main things. And then from there, I just edit my photos with some presets to get the most out of it. That's why I enabled a ProRAW setting. Now, I do use the Moment app most of the time now because I like this one thing called the natural processing format. With the natural processing, it pretty much removes all of the processing, all the edits that your phone will do whenever you press that shutter button. So it's not bringing down your highlights or bringing up your shadows. It's whatever you expose for, that's what it's going to prioritize, like a regular camera would. For the regular person that just wants to get snaps and doesn't care about photography, Sure, the processing the iPhone does is great because they don't have to tweak with settings, but whenever you want to get a little bit more creative, you want to have some contrast in your shadows. You want to have a more interesting image. If you're just getting snaps of your kid, then you just want the photo for the memory. A lot of the times I like to shoot towards the light so that I can shoot on the shadow side and get some contrast and some depth in my image. And a lot of the times I'll have to overexpose my highlights and I'll prioritize everything else on the scene, but that's okay because it's a creative choice. That's how I want my image to look. The app also does shoot in ProRAW, but I don't want to do that. I use it exclusively for the natural processing. It keeps some of the grain, and it's not like a film grain. I guess it's just like a digital grain, but I kind of like it, and it's just the colors that come out of it feel a lot nicer. One of the things that I wish they would add to the camera app, and it makes sense once I explain it, is that it doesn't have the 4x, or I should say the 2x and the 8x shortcuts for cropping. And that's because obviously it's not an optical lens, it's cropping into your standard and your telephoto lens. But I like these features, or this specific feature, when I'm using the default camera app for framing purposes. Yeah, I can just crop in after, and that's what I end up doing. But for framing purposes, I like to get it in camera because one of the things I like about this app is that I don't really have to edit the photos afterwards. Maybe some exposure tweaks and some masks for exposing properly, but I like the colors straight out of it. And because technically cropping in is an edit, I guess that's why they don't offer it. The default camera app is still pretty good. I just feel like I usually have to edit the photos more. As ironic as this might sound, one of the things that has made me a better photographer because of shooting on my iPhone, besides the fact that I don't take it as serious, is that I kind of shoot more sparingly. And it's not like film where I have 36 shots, so I'm trying to make those 36 shots perfect. But it's more like I spend more time hunting for like light, composition, colors, and just everything that makes a good photo instead of just spamming and just going trigger happy. So it's kind of honed my eye to my style, even though I don't think my style is always changing, but that's a topic for another video. The point is that I'm on the hunt for a photo more instead of just pressing the shutter because I feel like I didn't have a good picture that day or on that photo walk, if that makes any sense. So, and that's carried over to whenever I bring my camera out. But that's not to say that there weren't times that I wish I had my camera with me, even though I usually do, but sometimes I wish I had like the dynamic range so I can shoot into the sunlight and still maybe expose the rest of my scene properly, little things like that. Because obviously the camera matters to some extent, but the point is that if you only have an iPhone, or an Android, doesn't matter, it can probably get you a long way before you run into limitations. And if you're somebody that's starting off, trust me, the iPhone is really good. Give it a shot, and then once you get the feel for it and you feel like, okay, I've reached my limitation with this, then upgrade your camera. Or if you're saving up, use your phone. It'll do a lot of the work, trust me. But yeah, I just wanted to share some snaps that I got over the years on my phone. All the way, I think I really started taking phone photography seriously. By that, I just mean that I started doing it a lot more with the iPhone 14. I think that's when they introduced the ProRAW feature. They do say that the best camera is the one you have, and if that's the only one you have, then use that one. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Drop a like, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.